So, welcome to the second episode of our podcast, yet to be named, in which we talk about gamification, especially how gamification can improve dramatically success in events and live marketing. So, today's episode is going to be about one of the core elements of events, which is networking. Based on our past experience, gamification has a huge impact on this aspect of events and life in general. So I'm gonna start with a story from one of our recent successful events, which is from a young man, which we're gonna name Bolt, because he was such a speed lightning. And Bolt had been hired to the company by the company 4 days ago, 4 days before the event. So, and actually, when we did all the onboarding and the registration, he had to use his college email, not because he hadn't already had been assigned corporate email, and he was the newest guy in the event, and he took the game very seriously. Like he was like, I want to win this, and he went out to everybody. He talked with all of us, and he just crushed it. He was the guy who achieved more badges and secrecy collected. He reached out to everybody just to be able to win the game. And what happened is this was a 500-person event. And one of the objectives was for the people to connect to each other. One of the objectives was we want people to reach out to their leaders and get to know their leaders and all that in the organization. This was huge. And by the end of the event, he was recognized in front of everybody, like the top 20 players are gonna be drafted to win one of these prizes and all that. So he was already being visible. But the closing remark and what really hit it, and I had this suspicion in my mind, but the very last minute of the event, I bumped into the head of the event, the head of the organization. And she reached out to me and we were talking about this, and she was like, hey, what about this guy Bald? He had been hired 4 days ago, and now everybody in the organization knows him. All his leaders know he's a winner, and now he's top of mind. And actually, I told him, next time I'm in your town, we're going out for lunch. And I was shocked by wow, this is the most powerful person in this organization. And now he has this new guy in her mind because he took it seriously and he unleashed the power of networking in games. So, Javier, what do you think? What happened here? What was the reason behind him being the guy with the odd email to okay, now he's the popular one in 3 days?
Yeah, and I love this anecdote. It's not just a survival story. You know survival bias, right? Like this anecdote can be the thing that happened that it's an outlier, but actually in the whole event there were a lot of these kinds of stories. Not at this level, but there was a lot of people that saying, "Oh, I met more people in this event than in all the other events I have been combined." Right?
Yes.
And it's because games have a powerful social dynamic. They build social dynamics. Games are social lubricants.
Okay.
By essence, they're social lubricants. Games and alcohol are social lubricants. Right?
Yeah.
So they help break those first barriers in the social interactions, right? And
You're right. Yeah. You're in a pool, everybody disperse and throw a ball.
Yeah.
Throw a ball in the pool, and now we're throwing it at each other. We start interacting by nature.
Right, because games are interactive by nature,
Okay.
and conversation is also interactive by nature. They're actually interactive in the sense that interaction comes from the fact that you do an action and you don't know exactly what reaction you will get. If you know what reaction you will get, that's reactive. And most technologies are reactive, but conversation, you say something, you get a joke back, or you get a serious remark. You don't know what you're going to get. And that's what makes interaction so fun. It's the surprise. There's an element of surprise, of uncertainty that you can control because you're in the interaction process. You have an action you can do. You can move the conversation along in a way. And games have rule sets that allow people to interact in a particular way. So think about playing a game of chess. It's two people. It's only two people. It's not 500 people, but you have two people. And the rules makes you have a huge conversation with a lot of intention. So I'm moving a pawn, but that pawn means I'm attacking your flank, right? And I'm defending myself. But you know there's a lot of things happening where there are no words to describe it, right? So what happened with this game? In this game, what we built was we needed something to break those barriers. And the barriers, many people use this kind of like icebreakers, like let's make conversation starters, right? So I have a script to ask you something, and from there we start the conversation. That's not organic, but sometimes what you need to go to interact with other people is just something like, hey, do you have this sticker? And when you get that going, only that little bit of, hey, do you have this sticker? Let me see. How is this game played? Oh, let me show you. And then you start creating a sequence of conversation. And the interesting part around conversation is that conversation creates trees of possibilities really fast, right? So you start talking about something, and 20 minutes later, you're talking about something entirely different. And what happens is you start talking about the sticker, which is easy, right? It doesn't require a lot of barrier. I'm not talking with my leader about the things that we have to do for our jobs.
Yeah, you don't approach them like, oh my God, sir, hi, I'm the new guy. I wanted to meet you. You just went to them like, hey, do you have my sticker? I'm missing this one. What is this about? And I wanna take this opportunity to just, we all know how they are. How are traditional events? How are these? And we're talking about an internal event. For a huge company we just did recently, and these conventions in leadership and stuff, and they have super powerful keynote speakers, and the messages are super cool. But normally, how are they? Like, people hang out with their buddies, they know their group. Oh, you're from my same division. Maybe you reach out to you're marketing also, but in this company. And one thing I saw in this experience was people saying, like you said, I've met so many people. I have met people from so many departments I have never talked to, like accounting and billing and all this. My team has spoken to so many people, and you later told me, because, so just so you know, Javier is the game designer. I was the face of the company at this event. I was like playing game master there.
The game master.
And actually, he engineered and didn't tell me beforehand that some of these mechanics are supposed to make things harder. So you actually had to go and reach to more people, because what happened is a lot of people were saying, oh, this is impossible to get. This sticker is super hard to get. So I have talked to 70 people, and none of them had this. And I'm like, yeah, no, let me see, let me check it. Oh, okay, no, it does exist. So you go and keep talking. But and then when I told you that, like, oh, I think we had a mistake. One of the stickers was very scarce, and it was like, no, that was by design. So you had to go and actually reach out, and that's exactly how it happened. So that's social engineering. The social engineering you were talking about.
That's part of the social engineering, because if every sticker is easy to get, you will get it easy from the people that are in your first line of interaction, right? The people that are really near you, right? But if some stickers become harder, the first stickers make it easy, so you will get onboarded with activity, right? So, okay, I talk with my friends and I get 2 or 3 of these stickers. We're not talking about exactly how the mechanics work, but it was about trading, right? So, just start trading a little bit with the people that is near you. You find it interesting, you find it fun, it creates conversation again. You change your sticker, and then you ask about your weekend or what do you do in the company, and the conversation starts flowing. But when you start these hard stickers start showing on in the game, that's where the magic really starts. It's when you have to push beyond the limits of your comfort zone, right? And games try to bring down the barriers of interacting with those things that are outside of your comfort zones. They make it easier. We try to create a way where you will not have to interact in a really personal level. For example, that's hard. Asking about your job, about your position in the company, those things can bring a little bit of shame, right? Like I don't know how to interact with you asking about these things, but asking you for a sticker, it's actually quite easy. It's not a hard problem to tackle.
Totally.
And when you start reaching out these people because you have this scarcity, and you start seeing that it becomes a social topic, right? So you haven't found this sticker as well. Let's name it. How it was named?
Oh my God, the awful 10 and 2, and if anybody from the FSOP mentioned Coca-Cola, yeah, the awful the awful 10 and 2, and actually you're right, and this was by design. I didn't know it. It was a surprise for me too, but it had like this amplified effect of people reaching out to so many people, and you touched on something that it was important, and I wanted to bring it to here, but which is, in a game we're all players, and I have been a long time hardcore gamer, and I have encountered, and I'm also, let's call it an expert in behavioral economics. So every time I enter a game or something, I enter with this glasses as well of seeing what happens, and I have a group of friends from my gaming realms. And in real life, a lot of them are super shy, super introverted, I don't talk to people. I'm here, leave me alone. But inside the game, they're the social catalyst. I know everybody. I'm the leader. I go talk to you and you and you. It's like the games allow for a total different game social context to develop. And that makes these people, like, if you look at this bald guy, he was the shyest guy. But in the game, he was it. He was the king. He dominated it. And also, there were like social extroverts, which were awesome. And one of them was Rob. I can name him. He was the best guy ever. And actually, that also, he has another story, which is people from the leadership reaching out and saying, hey, in which area are you? I'm looking at, I want to talk to you later. I'm like, just because the way he behaved in the game, and games allow for that.
Yeah, because games actually have structures built into the conversation. So what happens if you play World of Warcraft, right? And you need to interact with someone. You have this mission, and you know the questions that you need to ask to other people to know how to achieve that mission.
Yep.
So the beginning of the conversation, which is the hard part, the first barrier, it's actually not that hard because you have the idea of what you need to ask.
It's not about you. It's about the game.
It's about the game. Exactly. Okay. It's about the game. It's not about you. It's not about the other person. You find someone, you say, hey, I need to solve this. Can you help me? Yeah, I know how to help you. Okay. And then the conversation begins, right? And it can be a little bit of mentoring and mentoring is a big thing in this kind of networking things, because if you see what happened in this event is many people started talking with each other just because some of them were explaining the rules to others.
Exactly, and now you put it like that, and I've been through that in World of Warcraft and stuff like that, and suddenly a couple executives from one of the biggest companies in the world end up like kindergarten friends holding hands and saying, oh, let me show you, because that's actually what happened during this event. We had these rules. A big chunk of people got it. Okay, I get it. Some of them went and asked, and then they started spreading the word and explaining it to others. And some of the people who weren't actually interested in playing entered the game by being asked by somebody. Like, hey, do you have stickers? Oh, yeah, I got something. I don't know what it is. Oh, let me show you. Oh, yeah, this is the one I need. And you know what? Oh, this is the one you need. Okay. And now they have one sticker in their card, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to get the other two. And by the end of the day, like, there was this lady. She was super nice, but she was the most apathic face I got from the entire audience when we had her the passport and all that. It's like, oh, do I have to do this? Like, no, it's okay. You don't have to do anything. You just have fun. Attend your conference. By the end of that day, the first day, she was running to us because we were tearing down, and she was like, please, just let me turn out my 5th card, and that's it. I'm done for the day. And she turns to the person next to her. Oh my God, this is so addictive. And she entered not because we told her, not because we invited her, but because somebody else reached out to her and, hey, this is how you play it. Hey, I need to play with you. So that is brilliant.
I'm going to tell you one of the big lies of gamification and game design. The big lie is that you enter games in a voluntary way. of course, if you enter something if you're voluntarily engaged with something, you get more engaged, right?
Yep.
And you feel like, okay, everyone says you enter a game because you want to enter the game. That's not real. That's actually not real. Actually, most times you enter into a game, you are a little bit coerced into entering the game. I play a lot of board games, and I know a lot of people that haven't played board games, and to make them play with me, I have to persuade them to game. It's not voluntary, of course.
Pledge guilty.
For example. Yeah. So the first experience is actually a little bit scary sometimes, because you don't know what's going to happen, and many people don't play games just because they feel, okay, maybe I'm not good at playing games. I think I don't like them. I haven't played games. I never play games, right? So what I have found is that it's not about coercion in terms of you have to play the game. It's not like have to. But there's a kind of persuasion invitation that happens when someone tells you, hey, you don't know how to play the game, let me show you. I don't want to, but okay, this is interesting. And coming from that part of, I don't understand, to the part of that kind of onboarding of, okay, you have shown me this, and it starts to tickle something inside of me. I want to try to do it. It's a little bit more, it's not just about making something voluntary, but what you really have to do is make it seem voluntary, right? A lot of activities in game design are not voluntary in terms that when you have social activities, people will start pressing other people to do things they don't want to do, like play charades. You don't want to play charades, but someone say, let's play charades. Okay, I have to play charades. And maybe you don't want to play them again afterwards, but you got engaged in the activity for a while.
That's fun.
Yeah, you had fun. So the thing is, what you need to do is make it so people will think, okay, I don't have to do this. And actually in the game, you don't have to do anything.
Yeah, nobody has to do anything.
Yeah, and when we pitched this event, the first thing we told people is, people will not have to do anything. We will make them want to do those things, right? And this networking element is actually a big deal to make the game spread through the audience, right? But you need to keep it in a way where people feel like if they don't do it, nothing happens. But if they start doing it and they get engaged, well, it might get fun, right?
And as a disclaimer, we actually did it this way for this event, the FSOP event for Coca-Cola, and we were expecting like a 20-25% tops engagement rate. Maybe a couple of people will engage into this. And the actual result was more than half of the people were nuts about the game and the activities. They super engaged on it. We were the first ones to be like mind blown. Of course, our clients, the people, the team inside the organization that created the event with us were amazed. But we were also amazed, like, yeah, we were not prepared for this. We were not expecting this. And it was incredible. So if for some reason you think, oh yeah, this corporate convention, this event, probably is going to be boring. Let's hope people will not be bored to death in them. And you want to end up having something like we had, which was pretty much turning that event into a school playground. People jump into each other. Okay, the keynote speaker is done. Hey, pull out the stickers. Let's trade it. And there's photos of that. So go to our website, go to case study, and actually you're gonna see some of the photos of the people, all these grown-up men and women trading stickers like schoolyard kids, because that's what the power of networking and the power of gamification applies to networking has. So thank you for joining us. Thank you, Javier, and see you in the next one.